We live deep behind enemy lines, and we see the political environment becoming more chaotic as the months and years go by. Today, we will discuss the war that is occurring with Russia as the Senate passes a bill to send weapons to the Ukraine. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Let's get to the big news right away. Out of CNS News, Senate passes a bill that could send U.S. weapons to Ukraine for the use against Russia. Believe it or not, this is occurring, actually being put into law. And they said this: a bill passed by the U.S. Senate on Thursday could, if enacted, supply Ukrainian forces with U.S. weapons for use against Russian tanks in eastern Ukraine. And of course, they go on to say that, they've been really trying hard not to go this route. Okay, let's talk first about the fact that they said if enacted. Well, of course, they always go for the wars. They will always push ahead for that. And 99% of the time they've gone ahead and done this and actually supported the wars, and you'll have nearly unanimous voting for these wars. So essentially what we're having right here, right now, is a proxy war that is occurring between the US and less directly we have NATO versus Russia, and that is occurring on a big scale right here, and we will see the US officially putting it into law that they're going to go in and attack. This is pretty amazing stuff to read this going on right now. And connected in with that is this article out of Bloomberg: Congress sends Obama measure pushing for more Russia sanctions. And this is again all connected in to what's happening in the Ukraine. They want Russia to back off, and they are imposing all sorts of sanctions on them. They continue to increase. What they said was the sweeping sanctions on Russia's energy sector. They definitely want to hit them where it hurts most. They also said this: those steps go beyond what the White House and the European Union have been willing to do so far. So we can see right here they are cranking up the dial to levels not done before. At least that's what they're saying here, and they're hitting them where it hurts. So this is pretty amazing to read this and realize that things are getting serious right here in this part of the world, and this could very well blow up, pardon the pun, very quickly. So let's connect this in with the leader, pardon me, the emperor. I apologize for that. Emperor Obama, he's very busy. He's a very busy individual, getting work done. He's paying off people's mortgages as he promised to do. He's also pulling the troops out of Iraq. Wait a second, I thought he said he would pull them out. Anyway, Business Insider said this, Obama quoted, "I spend most of my time watching ESPN." And then he said, in the morning. So right here, he talks about the quote further goes on and says that, he gets a lot of politics. He doesn't need to be inundated with politics in the morning, too. He gets that in the afternoon as well. So, he's a busy guy. And, in the afternoon, I guess perhaps he's probably on the golf course, considering that he golfs more than professional tourers. But anyway, let's just go on with the reason I mention this is that we have a government, we have a bureaucracy that is not being controlled by those who are supposed to be controlling it. The Congress and the president in reality have very little control over what's going on. We know that there is a supranational elite that exists over top of these governments that are really pulling the strings. So what's happening here, we only know certain pieces of information, and of course, as I find them out, I bring them to you, but we have to look into the political spectrum as well. There is much to learn from it. It is not completely fraudulent, but we know that they are bought and paid for, and I'll get into that in a moment. Let's talk about what the government does. They said this: under the campaign money allows more money to flow into political parties. Remember, I was talking about the $1.1 trillion spending bill that had all sorts of schemes and scams within it. They said this: under the new rules, each super rich donor could give almost $1.6 million per election cycle. And they're able to get away with this as if it's completely legal, as if nothing is wrong with this at all. But they're doing it anyway. We're talking about millions upon millions of dollars now being donated, can be donated by a single individual. And previously, it was at about $200,000. So we're really seeing an escalation here of the criminality, of the collusion that is taking place. And if it's not already bad enough, we had companies like Goldman Sachs and so forth giving all sorts, hundreds of millions of dollars of campaign contributions going towards Obama and Mitt Romney in the last election cycle. So this is criminal what's happening right here. This is how they do this, and we need to realize that while the individuals at the high rankings, the the Obamas and the Putins, what they are up to, is really looking beyond that. We need to realize that there's more going on here. It's not just what they're saying in the news. We are looking at this out of Business Week, and it says the unexpected threat to Super Bowl 49. They said this, that we need to pass yet another law or renew this law, and it's basically a counterterrorism. They need insurance on these places here because obviously there is a big threat there at the Super Bowl. Consistently you'll have Al Qaeda, or is it today ISIS? They're always threatening one of the big events. And surely you need security at these events, there's no doubt. But they do, in fact, take the liberties of the people away every time they do this. They did it after Oklahoma City. They did it after 9/11. They did it more recently with the National Defense Authorization Act. And all along the way, they have enacted certain laws that are definitely against the Constitution, definitely illegal, and definitely a violation of citizens' rights. And that's what I worry about. In my book, I really talked about this, how money has really changed over the years. First, many thousands of years ago, livestock was a currency. Then it became crops. Then we had coins. Then it was paper. And now more recently, that paper is digital. And we have digital currency that's able to fly in and out of bank accounts, off of printing presses, into the accounts of those who are part of this collusion, the campaign contributions that I talked about, and all sorts of other things, funding and fueling the wars across the world. The only reason that the US and Russia are able to battle each other is because of the economic system that underlines it. We would not have these massive battles that are taking place. We would not have the money to build such sophisticated nuclear weaponry which threatens us, which looms overhead, if it wasn't for this economic system that lies underneath. That is what concerns me. Now, we do have a few individuals in the government structure that are good people, but they are vastly, vastly outnumbered. And right here, Elizabeth Warren said this at a dinner that she was with Obama's chief economic advisor, Larry Summers. Larry leaned back in his chair and offered me some advice. He teed up in this way. I had a choice. I could be an insider or I could be an outsider. Outsiders say whatever they want, but people on the inside don't listen to them. Insiders, however, get a lot of access and a chance to push their ideas. People, powerful people, listen to what they have to say, but insiders also understand one unbreakable rule. They don't criticize other insiders. And that's what he was trying to do to Elizabeth Warren, saying, do not step out of the lines, do not step on toes, and do not get involved with looking into the truth, because that is not what you're here for. You are here to work for the big bankers. If you want to continue to climb the ladder, you need to be basically a party to this criminality. And fortunately, so far, she has been doing well, I would definitely say. And then this is what she said. Enough is enough with Wall Street insiders getting key positions after key positions and the kind of cronyism we have seen in the executive branch. Enough is enough with Citigroup passing an 11th hour deregulatory provisions that nobody takes ownership over, but that everybody comes to regret. Enough is enough. And that's what I ask all of the Money GPS subscribers, all of those around the world, to say enough is enough. Start speaking up. start realizing that what we have right now is very serious. This isn't a joke. This isn't 200-day moving averages and trying to make money off of penny stocks. This is very serious. When we have things like the Constitution being considered a piece of garbage, we know that we have a big problem. When our individual liberties are less important than a game that's on television or any sort of other thing that's coming out of TV and movies and celebrities and all of this other useless garbage that is out there, we need to really, really worry, because this is unbelievably concerning to what I see out there. And take a look at this. When a country is so desperately in debt, when a country is pushed to the edge, they have to do this. Something that I talk about often, in fact. Out of The Independent, a Greek island, yours for the price of a London flat. That's right. They are willing to sell off all of their most precious assets just to make their money back. They are pushed into debt far beyond anything. And this is really where the rest of the world is headed. You look at them being strangled by the Troika, how they had the IMF, how they had technocrats telling them what to do, imposing maximum austerity, and here they are selling off their most precious assets. It's incredible to see it, and we're living in it right now. This isn't something in the pages of history. This isn't a movie you're watching or a documentary even. This is reality, and it is occurring right before our very eyes. And we are going to see this happen in every country around the world as they begin to sell off the assets to those private corporations, mega corporations, supranational entities, and the mega rich who can be there to pick up the pieces as everything crumbles down. Last but not least, do not forget to become an insider. The Insiders is where I give out all my best intel for free, and that is available at themoneygps.com. Scroll down to the bottom, fill in your email address, and you get occasional emails from me with good, short, concise info.